Okay, so we can use a computer to type documents, send emails like we did last week. We can use computers to play games and browse the web. And then you can also use it to edit or create spreadsheets, presentations, and videos. Now, what is a computer basically? A computer comprises of what we call hardware and software. So one important thing about today's class is learning some terminologies so that when you're speaking out there, people will know that you know things about digital devices, okay? So a computer basically has a hardware and a software. And just like my little kids, they'll tell you a hardware is anything you can see. Anything on a digital device that you can see is called a what? Hardware. But softwares are things that you can't see that controls the hardware, okay? So that's the simplest definition from a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old. So I'll just go ahead. So hardware is any part of your computer that you can see, just like the keyboard or a mouse, all right? But mind you, computers also has internal parts that are locked inside. They are also called what? Hardware. So these are some of the things that are locked inside a computer, especially when you have like a desktop computer. So we have other hardwares that are inside. Then a software is any set of instructions. So any instruction, it doesn't matter. We have different kinds of software. So any instruction that tells the computer hardware what to do and how to do it is called a what? Software. So these are two basic terminologies we need to get today. That a computer or a digital device, let me use a digital device. A digital device has a hardware or a software, okay? And now examples of softwares are browsers, games, and word processors. Any instruction that tells the computer what to do. It could be telling the computer how to calculate. It could be telling the computer how to play a game. It could be telling the computer how to maybe do presentations and all that. That is what is called software, all right? So we have different softwares, and these are different icons that represent different softwares, okay? So everything we do on our computer relies basically on the hardware and the software. They both work hand in hand. They both work hand in hand. Right now we're using a computer or a phone to join this class. And then we're using Google Meet to communicate. So Google Meet has a software that is making it to work. There's a software that is making Google Meet to work for us to be able to join this class. So right now we're going to be learning different types of computers. Before, digital devices were called computers, but right now we call them digital devices, okay? So when most people hear the word computer, they just think of it of a desktop, but a computer is anything that processes information. Anything that processes information is called what? A computer. And then we now have different types of computer. So the different types of computers we have are desktops. We have desktop, which have separate components, and we also have what? Laptops, all right? They all come in different shapes and sizes, okay? So even our ATM machine that we use in supermarket is called a computer. So anything that manages data or information is called a what? Computer. The little calculator you use is called a what? Computer. So we have different kinds of computers, okay? So computer is a general name. Computer is a general name, all right? So we have different kinds of computers. So the basic form of computers we all know is called the desktop computer, which is usually very big. It has a monitor, it has a CPU, it has a keyboard separate and all that. So that's called a desktop computers. And then desktop computers are usually placed on a desk, and they are used for heavy workloads, all right? So desktop computers are usually placed on a desk, and they are used for heavy workloads. Another type of computer is called a laptop, which most of us have, okay? So we have a laptop, which most of us have. This is a laptop, all right? And they are usually all in one. A laptop has everything built in. their keyboard, their batteries, everything is built in one, and you can carry them anywhere. That's why it's called a laptop. You can carry them anywhere. And they have rechargeable batteries, so their batteries can charge up, and you can use them when they are not even plugged to a socket. You can use them when they are not plugged to a socket. And another kind of computers we have are called tablets. Okay, so we have tablets, which is another kind of computers, and they can be used for mostly entertainment. Tablets are used mostly for entertainment. They're usually small. You can use them for little office work, but they're mostly used for entertainment, for reading, for playing music, and the rest of them. And then most tablets have touch screen. So they have touch screen. You don't usually use a mouse. They have touch screen. All right, so those are the kind of computers we have. Then we have what we call servers. When we get into cloud storage, we'll know the importance of servers. Servers are what helps us in cloud storage. Okay, so like in the whole world right now, we have like 7 data centers, and each data centers have servers with a lot of computers like this that helps us to save our information in the cloud. They help us to save our information in the cloud. So this is how data centers look like. They have a lot of computers, large computers standing up tall, that they use to save information in the cloud. So that's what servers basically do. All right, so we have other different kind of computers, like our smartphones. Okay, so our smartphones are also called what? Computers. Yes, they are computers. So our smartphones are not just for receiving phone calls and sending text messages. They are mini computers. So what a computer can do, your smartphone can equally do it perfectly. Okay, then we have wearables. So people that may be walking, we have wearables that maybe calculate your steps. There's all these people that do exercises and all that. We have wearables that they wear to track their steps and their fitness. We have smartwatches, which are computers. Okay, and then we have televisions. We have a lot of televisions now that are mini computers. All right, smart TVs, they are computers. Like these days, my children in their house, when they are trying to struggle laptops, there's one of my daughter that just discovered. I knew that the smart TV had a browser, but I've never used it. And of recent, when they were fighting over 2 laptops, one of them said, "I'll use the television." And she just went to the television, connected it to the internet, opened the browser, and she was browsing her assignment on the TV. I said, "Wow, you've shown me something today." So our smart TVs are mini computers. You can use your smart TV to browse. Yes, I learned that over the holiday from my children. You can use your smart TV to browse. So our televisions are also mini computers. All right. So we're going to move ahead. Now, the most popular form of computers are what? We have Windows computers and Mac computers. One of our students here has an Apple computer, so her interface is going to be different from us that have Windows computers. Okay, so as we go into operating systems, we're going to understand that better. So this is just a perfect example of how a normal personal computer looks like. This is how it looks like. It has a monitor, it has a mouse, it also has a CPU. All right, so that's how a computer looks like. Then we have Mac computers, which was built by Apple. So Mac computers is built by Apple company, and they usually have their Apple icon on it. Okay, and Mac computers are usually beautiful. Okay, thank you, ma. It's like somebody wanted to ask a question. Please go ahead and ask your question. Sorry, I didn't look at the in-call messages. Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, sorry. Can you see my screen now? Okay, maybe it's network. Okay, so she's mommy said she didn't get me after browse and games. Okay. Where is that browse and games? I talked about servers. I'm trying to look for the browsing and games. Okay, so I just talked about we have different kind of computers like smartphones. We have smartphones, we have wearables like fitness trackers that count our steps. So people that go to the gym, they have fitness trackers they wear that counts their steps. It's also called a computer. Then I was talking about televisions, okay, that our smart TVs are computers, that we can use our smart TVs to browse. We can use our smart TVs to browse the internet. Yes, our smart TVs are mini computers. Then I talked about different kind of computers, that the most popular kind of computers are made by Microsoft and Apple. All right, so we have Microsoft and Apple. So I was just showing us how the Apple laptop looks like. This is how it looks like, and they usually have their Apple icon on it. Okay, they usually have their Apple icon on it. And then Apple laptops and computers are usually very expensive because they are sleek, so most people don't use them. We have more people, like 80% of people in the world use more of Windows computers than Apple, because Apple is usually more expensive and sleek, but they all perform the same kind of work. All right, they all perform the same kind of work. All right, so we're going to be taking a look at the interface of our computers right now. Okay, so if you look through your laptop within you, you will see that your laptop have buttons. It has ports. I'm going to show us the different ports of our laptop. They have buttons and they have ports. And our laptops is being able to connect with different stuff. With our laptops, we can connect different things to our laptops, okay? We can connect a keyboard, a mouse, we can connect cameras, and these are called peripherals. So any external thing that you connect to your computer or your laptop is called a what? Peripheral. So this is another terminology I would like us to jot down in our notes. So we have printers. You can connect a printer to your computer. So that's called a peripheral. We have scanners that you can connect to your computer or laptop. All right. Then we have speakers and headphones. All these are called peripherals. So when you hear people talk about peripherals, all they refer to are things that you can connect to your laptop. There are things that you can connect to your laptops. You can also connect microphones to get sound. You can connect microphones to get sound. So I'm going to show us the ports where you can connect all of this. All right. You can also connect digital cameras to your laptop. You can connect digital cameras to your laptop. Okay. Now, no matter the digital device you are using, each digital device has a motherboard. Now, this motherboard is a terminology that I want us to know. It has a motherboard, and the motherboard is what like controls everything in any digital device, and it's usually very small. It's usually very, very small. It's on the motherboard that you have everything connected and placed. So if you open your smartphone at the back, where you see all those small chips, all those things is called a motherboard. So when you go to, maybe your system gets bad or your phone gets bad and they tell you that the motherboard is bad, it's just like the brain of the computer. It can't be fixed. Okay, so the motherboard is what houses everything, all the ports, all the extension cards, everything is placed on the motherboard. All right, so the motherboard is very, very important in our digital devices. Okay, we also have what we call the central processing unit, which is called the processor. We have the processor of any system. So for those of us that want to get a new laptop or a new system, always ask them the processor speed. The processor speed tells how fast your computer will go. So when getting computers or digital devices or even a smartphone, always ask for the speed of the processor. For example, for a laptop, at this time and age, you shouldn't get a processor that is less than 2.0, it's called megahertz. It's called megahertz. Don't get any laptop less than 2.0 megahertz. If not, your computer will not move very, very fast. All right. So processor is something that you must take note of in case you want to buy a system. You must take note of the size of the processor. Make sure you don't get anything that is less than 2.0 megahertz. I'm going to show us how to check the properties of our laptops later in the class so that we can know the size of our processor speed and all that, okay? So that when we're getting a system, you don't get a system that has a low processor speed, because a faster processor will help you to execute instructions more faster and easily, okay? So the processor is very important in any digital device. Secondly, we have what we call random access memory. So we have what we call random access memory. Now, the random access memory is what stores information temporarily. Okay, so let's say we're typing something, hello, how is you? Before you save it to your computer, it is the RAM that saves it. It saves to your RAM, so that should in case you delete it or you want to recall it back, it is saved in your RAM. So if your RAM speed or your RAM size is not high, your computer will be lagging. Your computer will be lagging. So please, when you want to buy a computer or a phone, please buy one that has a high RAM size. For example, for a phone, don't buy anything less than 8 gig. Okay, no, let me not be too high. At least 6 gig. In this time of day, you should not buy a phone that is lower than 6 gig, because we use our smartphones for a lot of things. So if the RAM size is not high, your phone will be lagging. Imagine you're opening WhatsApp, you're opening email, you're opening message, you're opening phone call. Each thing you're opening is saving to the RAM. It's saving to the RAM. So if you don't have a high RAM size, your phone will start lagging and dragging backward. So for a phone, please don't get anything lower than 6 gig RAM. So when you are buying a phone, please give specification, or somebody wants to buy a phone for you. Now that we're digital literate, tell them, I beg, don't buy me a phone that is less than 6 gig RAM, so that the processor, the phone will move high. So I've talked about processor speed. Now I'm talking about RAM. Then for a laptop, don't buy anything less than 8 gig RAM. If not, your laptop will be lagging. For those of us that has old laptops, we can manage what we have. But before you get a new one, for a laptop, don't get anything less than 8 gig RAM. If not, your laptop will be hanging. It will not be able to process things well and fast. So I'm going to show us how to check the properties of our laptop before the end of the class, so that we know if we need to upgrade or we can make do with what we have. All right, so that's what saves things permanently. The hard drive is what saves things permanently. So for a phone, it's advisable to get, because they will not tell you. You just go and buy a phone. They'll tell you, oh no, you can buy this one for 150,000. Check the property. So for a phone that has 6 gig RAM and 64 gig full memory size, the price of that one will be cheaper than a phone that is maybe the same 6 gig RAM and 128 hard drive size. Do you understand? So the higher the hard drive size or the higher the RAM size, the more your money will get. So these things vary. You can even be buying a phone that is high hard drive and low RAM. So always check it. Check the RAM and check the hard drive. Check the RAM and check the hard drive. For the hard drive, at least we should be getting something like at least 64. And 64 self is even small. Like for my phone is 128 gig. I've had this phone for more than 5 years, and I don't think I've had need of a memory card. And I've not used up to 70, because I use my cloud storage and I still have space. So when people tell me my phone is full, I'm wondering what is happening. It's either they did not have a high hard drive, or they don't know how to manage files on their phone. I can never tell you my phone is full. Never. And I just have 128 gig on my phone. But you can never hear me say my phone is full, because I save my most important stuff in the cloud. I save my most important things in the cloud. Then for my phone memory, I know how to manage my phone memory that I've not even used up to 80 gig out of the 128 gig. So if you have 128 gig on your phone, it's fine. It's fine. All right. So when you're buying a phone, at least you should have 64, but 64 is kind of small. Yes, ma. Mommy says that means she's not for managing her phone well. Yes, ma. You're not managing your phone memory well. With 128, you're not supposed to have problem. Yes, ma. So now, ma, assignment. Before we get to cloud storage, just go to your phone and delete, because sometimes we have things in the cloud and they're also in our internal storage. So go to your internal storage and delete the things that you don't need. Then those things that you have put in your cloud, they should not be in your internal storage. So go and manage the things in your internal storage. For example, any video you download for an advert and it's no longer needed, why keep it in your phone? Delete it. Do you understand? Delete it. Except you need it for memory, okay? So with 128 gig, you're not supposed to have problem with phone space at all. Then for people that do much workload, you can buy 256, but the higher hard drive size you buy, the higher the money. So, but at least you should buy 8 gig for phone. No? Buy 8 gig RAM and 128 gig hard drive, and you are good to go for memory size, okay? Then for laptop, at least 256 for memory of laptop, because most of the applications take a lot of space. So if you are buying a laptop, like last year I went for one competition and they were giving people gifts laptop. When we checked the price, the laptop, guess the RAM of the laptop they gave people as gift. The RAM size for the laptop, 2 gig RAM, 2 gig RAM and 96 gig hard drive size as gift. And everybody will be jumping that they gave them laptop as gift. Meanwhile, the RAM size very small, the hard drive very small. So please, if you want to get a laptop, you should get at least 256 RAM, and sometimes you can also add it up. Yes, you can add it up. So I'm going to check us how to see the property of our laptop while we get into the class, okay? So if you have 256, like for me, when I was getting my laptop, it originally came with 256 and I had to buy extra memory. Then for hard drive, we have different kinds of hard drive. This is another knowledge we should have. We have HDD and we have SSD. All right. So hard drive is the old model. So most of our old laptops comes with hard drive, and then with hard drive, your processor does not move as fast as when you have an SSD. So when you are getting your laptop these days, it's good to have an SSD drive, not a hard drive. All right. So for an SSD drive, your processor moves faster. For an SSD drive, if your laptop falls on the floor or hits somewhere, it will not get bad. But for a hard drive, if your laptop keeps falling down on the floor or something, it can go bad and you can lose all your files. But for SSD, no matter how it hits the floor or somewhere, you can't lose your files. Okay, so that's the difference between hard drive and SSD. All right, so this is one knowledge I would like us to have in case you want to get a new system. We'll all check our systems and know the property if maybe we have hard drive or SSD. Okay, so like last year when I was trying to get a new laptop, by the time I gave them specification, my family people say, Keno, please buy laptop. This your big eye is too much. I said it's not big eye. It's just that I need something that at least when I buy it now, it will last me. And we're like, your knowledge on computers is too much, because my brother bought my nephew a laptop for 80,000 last year. And we're all happy. But by the time we checked it, like for the ports, I'll show us ports. The laptop did not have an HDMI port. The laptop was it a 4 gig? The hard drive was how many? And when I bought my own laptop, when I was using it to navigate things, oh, my nephew was like, Auntie, I don't like my laptop again. I said, sorry, you are not knowledgeable then. Okay, so these are the knowledge we need to have. He's even in this call. Okay, so we need to have knowledge of hard drive, HDD and SSD. I thought you said you didn't have data to join the call today. He's in this call and I was using him for example. Sorry, don't worry, I'll buy you something. Okay, so that's hard drive and SSD. All right, so we have what we call video cards. So like my laptop too also has a GPU card. Yes, so if you know you'll be doing graphics, please, when you're buying a laptop, ask them that does it have a graphic card. So these are all the things I asked before I got my laptop, because I know I'll be doing a lot of graphics and heavy work. It makes your work to look sharp and all that. So that's what a graphic card looks like. All right, so we have sound cards. We have sound cards for our laptops and the rest of them. Okay, then we also have what we call network card. Now there are some laptops, old models, that cannot connect to the internet. That's because they don't have a network card. But mind you, you don't need to feel bad. We have external network cards that you can buy. All right, so if your laptop is an old model and you can't connect it to the internet, you can buy a network card, a Wi-Fi card that you can just plug to the USB and you can use it to connect to the internet. Okay, then we also have Bluetooth. Now most laptops these days come with inbuilt Bluetooth, and we're going to learn how to transfer files from our phones to the laptop using Bluetooth. But some old model laptops don't have Bluetooth card inbuilt. But you don't need to cry, you don't need to worry. You can buy an external Bluetooth card. It's cheap, let's say 5,000 or 4,000 naira. You can buy an external Bluetooth card, plug it into your laptop, and then you can send things through Bluetooth. Okay, so we're going to learn how to send things through Bluetooth. Does anyone have any question? I think I'm too fast. Does anyone have any question before we move ahead? So these are just different things that we can connect to our laptops and our systems. Any question? We're going to get into practicals soon. No question. Okay, let me get some thumbs up now if I don't have question. Let me check the message. Okay, so no question. I'll go ahead. All right. So like I said, a laptop.
Why don't you call?
All right.
From there, I'll go carry around.
Okay, sorry about that, please. So like I said, a laptop can be moved easily, and a laptop have everything built in. A laptop have everything built in. Okay, so for our laptops, we can connect a mouse to it. We can connect a mouse to our laptop, but our laptop has what we call a touchpad or a trackpad. And then that trackpad looks different for different systems. Okay, so can you see this image where I have the red rectangle? That is where what is called a touchpad in the laptop. So when somebody said, are you using your touchpad or your mouse, you should know what they are talking about. Okay, so this is what is called a touchpad, where we have the red rectangle. Some people's own is plain, and there are some people's laptops that have like two buttons that you can do a right click or a left click. So I'm going to be teaching us how to use that. So but if yours is plain like this, at the bottom, this place where my mouse is, this bottom is your left click, and this right part is your right click. So if your laptop has two buttons, you already have the left click and the right click. Okay, so whenever I say left click, you use the left button. Whenever, thank you ma, I saw your message. So whenever you see the right click, you use the right button. But if yours is plain, just press the down part. The down right is the right click, and the down top and left is the left click. Okay, so can you see my mouse? This is the power button up here. For this laptop, this is the power button up here. Can you see where I'm hovering my mouse? I need thumbs up if you can see that. Thumbs up, thumbs up. We're getting hands on. Very soon we'll start practicals. Thank you, thank you. So even though you don't have a laptop, please watch very well so that when you have a laptop, you can know how to use that. So this is the power button. It can be located in different areas. Okay, now can you see this small where my mouse is right now? That's called that's where you charge for this laptop. This one is where you charge for this laptop. So just study your own laptop. This is where you charge. Okay, I think I should zoom out a bit so that you can see it very well. I just want us to show us the different ports. Okay, I think it's bigger now. I'm going to show us how to zoom out on your laptop when we get into shortcuts. But let me just say it now in case I forget, because I can forget. So on your laptop, if you want to zoom out, please write it down. You press your control key and the plus. So that's what I'm doing to make my screen look big. For Windows, you press your control key and the plus. Control and plus, you zoom out. If I press control and minus, it will get smaller. Okay, control and plus, it will get bigger. All right, so if you got that, can I get some hearts? Control plus to zoom out, control minus to make it smaller. So this other icon here, no, port, is for memory card. It's a memory card reader. Can you see this port on your laptop? If you can find it, is the memory card reader. Okay, so on this other end, the third port is called VGA port. So please, when you are buying laptop, check these things, check it. This is called the VGA port. Now VGA cables are now outdated. Most people don't use VGA cables again. All right, most people don't use VGA cables again, but you can still buy a laptop that has it, should in case you go to somewhere, you want to connect your laptop to a projector and you need a VGA cable, you can have a VGA port. But please, in this present time, your laptop should have an HDMI port. Can you see this other port? This one here, this is called a HDMI port. So most connections now use HDMI. Most connections now use HDMI. So you should always make sure any laptop you are getting has a HDMI port, because most televisions have HDMI ports, so you can connect your laptop to the television or you can connect your laptop to a projector. So this is called the HDMI port. Okay, then we have the USB ports. This other two is called the USB ports.